need to have a look at race number 8, which is a small but very select field, and it's made it a really intriguing Chinese Club Challenge Cup Group 3 over the 1400. Beauty Joy, he comes out of the Hong Kong Mile in 4th behind California Spangle. Lucky Swayness, he is out of the Hong Kong Sprint where he was really unlucky, goes to barrier 6, extra weight. More Than This has scratched. Healthy Happy, he has had 2 trials. He led up in the last one and he beat Toronado Phantom in that. He's had 2 runs back this time in. Blaze Warrior, he's run second time in Group 3. This is his second run in Group 3. Ran 4th in the Premier Cup at his first go. Fantastic Treasures on an 8-day backup. Golden Scenery comes to group racing for the first time. Harry Bentley and Tony Cruz. So I've got Healthy Happy Paul from barrier number 5 leading. We know he likes to go forward. Lucky Swayness. Barrier 6 is going to give Zach some options, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. Small field, he's drawn the outside, so he can sort of go forward and just sort of sit outside the leader. Beauty Joy's drawn well on the inside, so he can be close. Fantastic Treasure likes to go back. The Golden Scenery likes to go back, and Blaze Warrior does as well. So shouldn't be too much variance in this.
I'll have a look at some of the previous winners of this race, and there's some really good names amongst them, including the champ himself, Golden 60, who won the race in 2020. Healthy Happy won it last year. He's looking for back-to-back wins. Interesting there, Paul. John Size and Karis Teaton have won 2 of the last 5. They combine this year with Blaze Warrior.
Yeah, so and again, he's got an opportunity as well. Blaze Warrior, it's a really good field this of only 6, but I think tactics going to play a lot into it, aren't they?
He carries just 118 pounds, does Blaze Warrior this week. We'll talk about him soon. But the buzz horse is Lucky Swayness, luckless in the Hong Kong Sprint. Let's find out what Zach thinks of his chances in the feature on Sunday. Lucky Swayness back this week, Zach, in the feature, but he's got a lot more weight on his back.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? Obviously, he's won over the distance before in a lower class. But the way he's been finishing his races off over 1200, I think the distance is okay. It's just the weight he's got to carry on his back. It's always difficult in these Group 3 handicap races.
What about his jump last time in the International Sprint? He looked to get out much better.
Yeah, and in the end it probably put us in a spot that cost us the race, right? So, you know, it's the one time you wish he was probably a length slower and in a different spot, but he did get out well. For whatever reason, he stood really well in the gates, and that was probably the reason why he jumped. So, you know, he's drawn outside. It's always tricky when you draw outside in these small fields. A couple of the runners generally try and race a little bit out of their comfort zone, so we're just going to have to deal with that, but hopefully we can get across and just cruise along and, you know, give him his chance to run the distance with the weight.
You've done a lot of work on him recently. You're happy with where he's at?
Yeah, he's working really well. He needs to go back to the races. He's wanting to tag along a bit in his work, so he needs to blow the steam out.
So that is Zach Paul. Now, he's the best horse in the race, Lucky Swayness, but the handicapper's got hold of him this week.
Yeah, he's up to 135. So, look, he has to carry the weight. He was so unlucky, as we saw in that last run of his. 1400 metres should hold no fares from his 1 from 1 over the course and distance. So that's a positive as well. And in the small field, he's going to get his opportunity. Here's the sprint. You can see for yourself in the yellow and the inside how he didn't get a clear run all the way down the straight.
He's switching across heels here, and it was Zach mentioning in that interview that it was because he jumped so well that he ended up in the spot that he did. Barrier number 6, I guess that's not too bad, Paul, for a horse like him, that he can go forward if he wants to. If he's slow away, Zach can sit back, but there's no risk of getting buried on the rail.
No, because there are 3 of the 6 horses that do like to get back, so there's definitely an option there for him to go forward and sort of sit outside the leader. He's not going to lead. Healthy Happy will lead. I mean, well, unless something majorly goes wrong at the start for him, because that's how he wins his races, Healthy Happy. So if he can sort of get outside him and outside Beauty Joy, he should be able to get himself into a nice position. You can see him all the way going down the straight. No run there at all, was there?
It just didn't open up. It was bad from the moment Limbs Kosciuszko stopped in front of him, and he had to look for alternate passages through the field. So that is Lucky Swayness. We move on to Beauty Joy. Now we've got California Spangle in front. This is the mile, Paul, and it was a little bit of a shock to see Huey was out there 3 wide. He almost got to the rail, or one off when Golden 60 thought about going to the rail. In the end, it didn't. Might have cost Golden 60 from going closer to winning the race, and he went and served it up to California Spangle.
Didn't he? And then he took off on Beauty Joy. He's another one that has to carry the weight. He's got 135 as well. so he's got to carry that big weight. You can see him here. California Spangle got back on the outside and obviously went on and won the race nicely. He finished fourth, so look, he did stay on okay. He is capable, but this over a mile, he's got to come back now to 1,400 metres, and saying that he has won twice over the distance.
He has, and he's won with 133 pounds on the back. He's ended up knocking up in the straight there, Beauty Joy. So he's out of a Group 1 race, as is Lucky Swayness around the top of the book. And as you can see, he was beaten officially 5 1/4 lengths at the end of that race. But Paul mentioned he's a 2-time winner over the 1,400 from limited starts. Those further down in the book now, Paul, we've got Healthy Happy, who's going to lead the Golden Scenery. Good test for him this week to see where he's at. Blaze Warrior and Fantastic Treasures had a start since then, which we'll see soon. But Healthy Happy, last year's winner, Group 3 placed 2 runs ago. This was in Class 1.
So when Healthy Happy won this race last year, he carried 132 off a rating 109. He's now rated 107 and he's carrying 123. So weight-wise, he's looking a lot better in this race. This is a race, the 1,400 metres, we know he really enjoys the distance. So I think he can run a bit of a race again.
That second was behind California Spangle. He's only 2 lengths off him, so and is possibly going to get a really good run in front too. An X-Replay is featuring Blaze Warrior again and the Golden Scenery. They both like to get back and run on. Blaze Warrior, 4th in the Premier Cup, and that was at Group 3 level in May. He's had 2 runs back for a second to Beluga and that'll win over Beauty Live.
Yeah, I think both these are legitimate chances as well. The Golden Scenery comes in with a really nice racing weight of 116, so he comes in with a light weight. And Blaze Warrior, look, he's been in good form recently. He's a 6-time winner from his 17 starts, and I thought this win was quite strong as well. So I think they've both got good chances.
And we did mention that the record that John Size and Karis Teaton have had over the 5 years too, previously, which has been very, very good. Final replay, Fantastic Treasure. Now, this was last week. This was a really strong field. He'd failed over 1,600 a couple of times. Got into a battle with Packing Treadmill here at the top of the straight. So he's on a fast back up, but he does come back in trip to the 1,400, which is where he has raced well in the past.
Yeah, cheek pieces will go back on him just to help him focus as well. As you say, he's a 3-time winner. It was a hard run he had here, though, as well. Look, he really fought strongly to the line. It's just as long as this hasn't taken out of him, because he is on the reasonably quick backup, isn't he?
He is, and Vincent Ho and David Hayes. It's the first time in Group 3 for him. He has run 8th in Group 2 in the Premier Bowl previously. So it's just a really interesting race, isn't it? Just the smallness of the fields just opened it right up.
Yeah, I think tactics is going to be a big play in this particular race. I am going to go with Lucky Swayness, though. I think he's the up-and-coming horse. He's just got to carry that weight, but he's 1 for 1 over the 1,400. Healthy Happy comes in this race really well, I think. He's won off a high rating before, and last year, as I said, he carried 132, and he has to carry 123 in this. The Golden Scenery with the light racing weight as well, and Blaze Warrior, a horse in form, and that's leading out Beauty Joy, who's got a chance of Fantastic Treasure. The 2, 4, 7 and 5. Any one of the 6 can win.
Yeah, it was hard to leave a couple out, wasn't it? But with the 2 also, Lucky Swayness, he has to go on top, even with the 135 pounds. He's come up very short early at 1.7, 1.5. He's more than likely going to start odds on again, especially if Zach's won a few races by the time we get to race number 8. Beauty Joy goes in. He's tricky, quirky sort of horse, but don't mind the fact he's coming back to 1,400 metres. His last run over 1,400 metres was when he beat Lucky Express, and that was the race that he was a mile off them early on, and in the end has recovered to go on and win that race. 6 Fantastic Treasure for 3rd, and 4 Healthy Happy, 2, 1, 6 and 4. But it was very hard to leave out the Golden Scenery and also Blaze Warrior from the selections.